Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, and welcome back to Thornton Farm. This is episode number 10, and I think he's doing a fantastic job. Yes, this is Billy Bob from the U.S. We have put him to work already. He landed yesterday, got here to Thornton Farm area yesterday as well, and said he got a pretty good night's sleep last night, and so I went ahead and said, well, we've got plenty of work for you to do. So how about a little bit of mowing? And he said he appreciate the challenge and would enjoy a little bit of outdoor work on this fine, beautiful day. So that's what we have him doing now. Let me tell you, field number 22. This is not a field that we own. This actually belongs to a young lady here in the area, in the Cotswolds area, by the name of Lady Felicia, and she contacted Mr. Thornton and asked if we would basically, if we had the time, if we could basically cut that meadow for her. She is allowing us to basically have the grass or hay or whatever we want off of that field. And so Mr. Thornton was like, yes, ma'am, we certainly will do that. And so he gave me a call this morning and he said, hey, look, if you've got time this week, let's get over there and get that meadow cut. And of course, we just wrapped up cutting our own field number 11 here. We just cut this morning. We had a rain last night, but it managed to dry out well enough. Things are a little damp around here anyway, and so we're quite used to cutting a bit of wet grass. So we are going to go ahead and for our field, for our meadow, the one that we own, field number 11 that I just drove past just a few minutes ago, we're going to go ahead and rake that and go ahead and get that ready to bale as hay. And then as far as Lady Felicia's field there, we will make a decision on that based on what we feel the yield is going to be off of our own field. If we think that we will have enough hay, then it's possible that we will go ahead and go ahead and take that and bale that, wrap that as silage. Or maybe even pull the grass off of that field and take up to our own silage silo. But we basically have to consider not only what our needs are here on our own farm for Mr. Thornton, but we also have to basically look out for the interests of the other farmers. And as you know, as soon as I can remember here where I parked the Tedder, I think it's over on the other side there. As you know, these bells that we did a few episodes ago, those are obviously for other farmers that we will be selling to them in the coming months. They buy a lot of that from us for their animals because a lot of the fields around here, as I've talked about before, are relatively small, and they just don't have the luxury, the size, and whatnot to have hay meadows and such. And so they've got animals, and they want to maintain their animals and keep their animals fed and everything because they enjoy doing that. They enjoy that type of farming, but they just don't have the land to be able to have fields and such as that. So we're always happy to accommodate. And of course, a lot of the fields around here that Mr. Thornton owns currently today are fields that he has purchased from other farmers. And again, we've kind of talked about the necessity to kind of keep these fields away from those big corporate farming entities that just kind of suck the life out of these communities and turn them into just basically corporate type farming without much character left. And Mr. Thornton, being born and raised around these parts, he wants to keep everything as certainly as nice and whatnot as he possibly can. Hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful day as you're watching this episode here of Thornton Farm. And again, this is episode number 10. and of course recorded in modern times. As I continue to keep joking, and I'll stop referring to that because that's going to get old pretty quick. But no, it is just very good to be back in recording episodes in kind of a more current fashion. And you know me, folks, I do like having a little bit of a buffer, a little bit of a stockpile of episodes, and so I am going to try to more or less keep that just so I can do things on a consistent basis that really helps me out quite a bit. And just kind of breaking out of character and everything. Don't think I will be traveling anymore this year, and of course, this is still actually I'm recording this episode on the very last day of November, so it's November 30th. Tomorrow is December 1st. And I don't believe I will be traveling anymore this year. And I'm thinking, hopefully, fingers crossed, that I won't travel for quite a while in 2018. At least most of the projects that I'm working on, that my group and my organization are responsible for, it's not looking like we're gonna have to do that. But let me tell you what a treat it is to have Billy Bob here. Of course, we picked him up at the airport yesterday, and just a fantastic guy, fantastic individual, fantastic soul. And of course, he was telling us all about um, his roles and responsibilities there on his farm in the U.S., Netterton Farm, and talking about his boss, his foreman out there, and of course Jack, his kind of his partner, his partner in crime there on the farm, and a lot of great stories that we were able to share within a short period of time that we were together last night. And of course, one of the first things that he wanted to do was try the national British dish. Of course, I'm talking about a good curry. So we did take him to the local curry house. You might think that maybe Billy Bob might be interested in some fish and chips as being his first meal here in the UK, but he opted for the national dish of curry, and I think that most might agree that that is somewhat the maybe the unofficial national dish. I know I certainly look forward to having curry every time I visit the UK in the real world and in real life. And as a matter of fact, my wife and I will be traveling over to Europe and the UK this next summer, and of course I will be looking forward to having some curry. So that will be fun stuff. So anyway, he quite enjoyed it, and as far as I know, he doesn't seem to be having any stomach problems after enjoying his curry dish last night. So we'll just go ahead and make a turn here. We might need to give ourselves a little bit more room here on this end, but anyway, we're going to go ahead and turn this grass, tether this grass into hay. And then we most likely will rake and bell this at another time, because we want to kind of pretend anyways that we are letting this bask out here in the nice bright sunshine here in the Cotswolds and dry thoroughly, because of course you would not mow and immediately tether and then immediately rake and then immediately bell in the real world. The grass would still be, it would still be grass if you did that all at one particular point in time. But as I've talked about before, we will get slightly penalized if we don't address it quick enough. And of course, as I've also said before, we're not going to get too hung up on game days and all that kind of stuff. If I come back together for another episode and I say it's the next day, then just trust me, it's the next day and the hay has dried naturally, and we will go about our work of getting all that taken care of. So again, just to kind of maybe stay out of character just a little bit, I'm kind of curious as to what all of you all are thinking about a lot of the new stuff that has come out for FarmSim in in recent weeks. We've had quite a bit, and I've been sort of steadily over the last few days getting caught up on all the news and happenings within the farm sim community, and of course checking out the Platinum expansion DLC, checking out the free DLC that Giants released as well. Trying to think of the horse DLC. And if you don't have that, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, evidently, from what I've heard, obviously I think we've all heard that Giants has signed an exclusive rights to distribute horse, the horse product, the horse name within Farm Sim. I don't know how I feel about that, but I mean, as far as it taking away from other potential vendors having access to that, such as Cattle and Crops and Pure Farming and some of those other guys, we'll have to wait and see, what they come out with and just how that impresses us. But yeah, the horse DLC, that's free. I've got it. It's available on the Giants mod hub. Let me pause for just a moment here, and I'll be right back with you. All right, just got a radio call that Billy Bob is done, and so I went ahead and told him what he needs to do next, and basically that is he needs to head on over to Mr. Thornton's pub and meet us there for lunch. So we're gonna introduce him to Mr. Thornton, which he has not had the opportunity to meet yet, and we'll get all those niceties and everything out of the way, and then we'll get back to work later this afternoon. And also took time to grab our screenshot there for our thumbnail. But so yeah, the horse DLC, got that. If you're not familiar with it, it's on the Giants mod hub. It is free. I'm not sure if it's if it was going to be released as a paid DLC or whatever, but for right now it's free at least, and you might want to go out there and get that just in case things change. And then also, in addition to the horse DLC and the Platinum expansion DLC pack and everything, there was a new release. It's actually Aerosoft published it, and it is the straw add-on DLC. I picked that up today. I will tell you, I was on the fence as to whether or not I was going to buy that DLC. And I will say this much, that I have known about the Aerosoft company for many, many, many years. Obviously, Aerosoft is a fairly reputable name, good customer service, good quality add-ons and stuff in the flight sim realm of things. And so I own quite a few Aerosoft sceneries. I own some Aerosoft aircraft, the Airbus A320 series that they came out with. They came out with a A318, a A319, a 320, and a 321 for FSX and P3D, and I think they're working on one for version 4 of P3D. So that was a good quality aircraft as far as Airbus is concerned, and I'm not going to let's not get into the whole what's greater, Airbus or Boeing, but I will just say that I tend to fly mostly Boeing in the real world. But anyway, I looked at the DLC, I watched some of the previews. I know that Landy Kid and Simulate and Daggerwind, they all have access, got all complimentary access to the straw add-on. I watched some of their videos. I didn't watch a whole lot of it, but what I saw, yeah, the price is a little high, but you get some new functionality. You get some things that I think that we can sort of develop into storylines and stuff that will kind of help things out. As a matter of fact, Mr. Thornton certainly wants us to look into maybe doing some pellet, straw pellet work later this year. So we're going to look into all of that and see what our costs and everything are to get involved in that. And so anyway, I picked that up. So I don't know when you'll actually see that on this channel, just simply because well, in this series we are in midsummer, so we probably will hit the harvest in this series before we will hit the harvest as a matter of fact, let's just kind of look at that together right quick. Let's switch over here to, so yeah, so we're in the growing stages. So these are all going to come available first, and then these are all in the lesser growing stages. So, you know, it's possible that we'll see, and I don't really remember which fields are which right now, but obviously we would need fields of wheat or barley to take advantage of the straw mod, so or the straw add-on. And but I picked it up. I figured, well, you know, I know enough about the Aerosoft company to know that it should be quality stuff, and I think it is. I mean, you know, you're going to have to make your own decision as to whether or not it fits your budget, it fits your needs, it fits your style of gameplay and everything. But for me, I kind of thought it would be nice to be able to have the flexibility to be able to add that into a portion of our storyline. And I'm happy to have it. And again, you know, you'll start to see that once we get to a point to where that we can access our straw and do something with it, because right now we are just not there yet. But like I said, we should get to straw on this map probably before we will Snetterton, and then of course we'll have access to it on Snetterton as well, and we'll have a lot of a straw on Snetterton because we've got a lot of different crop types on Snetterton Farm that obviously will produce straw. So we've got our barley and our wheat, but we've also got rye and those others as well that kind of escape me right now. So we'll go ahead and grab a hold of the rake and see if I can get this pulled out of the barn here without scraping too much paint off of it. Mr. Thornton certainly doesn't like to see his equipment all scuffed and scraped and stuff like that. But you know, that is one of my goals here as foreman, is to make sure that we keep everything nice and try to keep things clean. Of course, we've been using these tractors today, so they are dirty, but a dirty tractor is a hard-working tractor, right? We did do some washing up yesterday, just kind of got some things cleaned up. We didn't want Billy Bob to come here and think that he basically was coming into a pigsty, even though we don't raise any pigs here on this map. But in any event, everything's looking good, and of course, keeping equipment, you know, without getting scraped and dented. I'm not too sure how that's going to work out with, you know, basically giving Billy Bob the keys to the big John Deere tractor on his very first full work day here on Thornton Farm. But I think he's done a pretty good job, and you know, you can't always believe everything you hear, and so we'll just kind of leave it at that. So let's go ahead and get this guy here unfolded as I get a drink of iced tea. And let's get to raking. So one of the things that Billy Bob commented on when we gave him a tour of the farm and everything was, you know, he was sort of talking about, well, you guys sure have, you know, you got a nice big rake. He saw the rake here, and I told him pretty quick that, well, you know, if we can do things a little bit more quicker, a little bit more efficient, Mr. Thornton certainly doesn't mind putting out a little bit more capital, a little bit more money up front to get nice equipment and get things that we can all be a little bit more efficient with. And of course, I think that makes a lot of sense. Plus, I just enjoy the bigger equipment myself. Of course, that kind of shows with some of the maps that I enjoy playing, like Snetterton Farm, for example. And even on this map here, I think we've probably got a much larger equipment than we would see on a farm of this size. But again, I like the bigger equipment, and I think some of my viewers like to see some of this stuff as well. So that's why we use some of the equipment that we do. So anyway, let me know what your thoughts are on some of the new DLCs and new expansion stuff that's come out. Let me know your thoughts on the straw add-on. Have you bought that? Are you going to buy it? Have you even heard about it? And again, there's a link on my mod spreadsheet. If you go to grizzlybearsims.com, again, that is grizzlybearsims.com is my website. If you go to that and take a look, there you will see a link at the top of the page that says add-on and mod directory. If you click that link, that will take you to a Google spreadsheet. And if you click down or look down at the bottom and click on the FarmSim 17 tab, if you look under the DLC section, which is towards the top of that spreadsheet, you'll see a link to that. And it will basically take you to an Aerosoft page to purchase it. Now, I didn't pre-order it because it basically released today, and today is the 30th of November. You guys are going to be watching this episode into December. I think it's going to be like Tuesday, December 5th, I think is when you're going to see this. So it's been out for quite some time, obviously, when you watch this video. I did not pre-order it. It debuted, or it was to be released today. Again, the 30th of November. And let me just lift my my rake up here. And I kind of have to shut it off because it will it'll basically mess the hay up if we don't shut it off when we go over that windrow. But anyway, it came out today. I didn't pre-order it because I wanted to see if it would be available to purchase on Steam. Now, it's not at least it wasn't available to purchase on Steam on Thursday, the 30th of November. I don't think it will be available to purchase on Steam, but at the same time, it's not. It basically will work regardless of which version of FarmSim 17 you have. So if you have the boxed, of course, I'm talking about PC here, okay? I don't think there's an option for you to get it for console, at least not right now. But if you have the boxed version, or if you have the Steam version like I do, purchasing it through the Aerosoft website, downloading it, it's going to be an executable. You will get a license key that will be available to you when you download it. When you go to install it, it installs just like any other. It's a zip file, and you'll unzip it, and there's an executable inside the zip file. You basically launch that executable. It's going to essentially ask you for talking about not scraping paint and whatnot. And look at what I'm doing here. Let me try this one more time. It'll ask you for the license key. You'll put the license key in, and then literally about 10 or 15 seconds later, you'll get a prompt that says confirming that it installed okay. So that's what you're basically looking for. And then it activates like any other mod that you've installed. You select go into your map, your game save, you launch that, your list of mods that you've selected or deselected, whatever, and you'll see the straw add-on listed there. So that's how that works. So you can basically choose to add the straw add-on to a specific map or not add it to another map. And I don't outside of that, I don't really know what other changes it makes to the game. Again, I've got it activated on this map as well as Thornton Farm, and I've been playing around with it a little bit, not necessarily with the add-on because I don't have any straw yet, but I've at least been doing some things on each of the maps, and I've not seen any performance degradation or any sort of errors or lags or anything like that. It's certainly not responsible for my poor driving, that is for sure. So, but I'd love to hear what you think about it. If you've considered buying it, or if you're just basically dead set against it. Again, a lot of people are somewhat complaining about the price because the price is actually, I think the cost of the straw add-on at this particular point in time, especially based on the fact that I believe Steam is also running a sale on FarmSim 17. The cost of the add-on right now, I think, is a little more expensive than FarmSim 17 is. But again, if you've owned FarmSim 17 for a year, again, sort of like me, like many of us have had FarmSim 17 for a year, and you're looking at breeding a little bit new life into the game, then maybe consider it. And trust me, I bought and paid for it just like you would buy and pay for it. I did not get any favors. I did not get it for free. I did not get it discounted in any way. I don't get any sort of commission on anything that if you guys choose to buy it or not buy it. It doesn't make a hill of beans to me what you guys choose to do. But I'm saying, as far as I'm concerned, I think it's going to be pretty cool, and you'll see it down the road on an episode soon. All right, well, folks, I'm starting to ramble. I can always tell when I get to rambling just a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and finish this field up here off camera, get this all raked up together and everything. And probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to check and see where we are as far as amount of hay that we have after we get this baled, and what we're going to need to do with Lady Felicia's pasture there. I don't know if we need to take that as grass up to the silo, or if we need to bale that as silage for sale, or just what the case is. We'll do all that inventory and everything, and when we come back together, either we will be baling that, or wrapping it, or carting it to the silo or something, and this will probably at least already be done for the most part. And because I know you guys have kind of already seen mowing, and you've already seen some baling and stuff like that. And again, I don't like to basically do the same stuff too much. Obviously, when we get into the harvest, we're probably going to have several episodes of harvest stuff, just because well, there's just a lot to do with harvest. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate you tuning into my channel each and every time I release a new video. Please check out my other friends on the Three Dudes Gaming Network and PCSG. You'll see the links and everything down below. Also, if I can interest you in a pin, check out my Etsy page, and if you are got all your shopping and everything done all together, still have a look and let me know what you think of those. And hope you come back for another episode very, very soon. Take care of yourself and also of each other. God bless you all. From Thornton Farm, my name is Jerry Grizzly Bear Sims. Take care and a very, very good night. Bye-bye.